Hey Libra, welcome to your emotional baggage reading, where we'll take a peek at what you've been carrying around with you and how you can start to release it. So we're going to start by pulling a couple of tarot or oracle cards to see what overall energy is surrounding this reading for you. And the first card that we have out for you is Unfinished Symphony. Let's pull another and see what other energies are surrounding my Libra collective for their reading. And we have Fixed Moon, Hold Your Vision. Oh, Libra, and more Libra. Seems like you have a little bit of unfinished business happening around you. And there's a sense of frustration that's coming through. It's almost this feeling where there's something that you want to accomplish, something that you have started out doing, and it feels like it's taking forever. That is just like, oh my God, when is my break going to come? It's like, and you keep going through your head, it's darkest before dawn. And, a setback is a setup for a comeback. And it's like you're giving yourself all of these affirmations and all of these sayings. But deep down, you're just kind of like, when is this going to happen? I'm getting tired. Like, should I keep doing this? Should I keep moving forward? And Spirit is saying, yep. Yeah, you should. That vision that you had for yourself, now is not the time to give up on it. Even if it feels like it's going very slowly, even if it feels like it's not going to come to fruition, perhaps there are some things in the process that you can tweak, but this is not the time for you to let go. It's almost that, that same sense of, when you think about somebody who's planted a seed, right? They put the seed in the ground and they look and they look and they look and they're like, I don't see any leaves. I don't see any flowers. Like, when is this seed coming up? And it's like under the surface, the seed is kind of doing its own little thug dizzle, right? It's, sprouting roots and it's getting grounded and it's taking in nutrients from the earth. And then after weeks, depending on the seed, a couple of months, then you start seeing this little bit of green breaking through the surface. But meanwhile, you can't see anything happening. All of this is going on underneath, but you're not seeing the results of it. And so for some people, they'll be like, oh, to hell with it. And they'll stop watering the seed. They'll stop taking care of it. They might kick up the dirt around it. Other people will just be patient. And so I think Libras, where for I think a lot of you, patience is not necessarily a virtue. Spirit is saying that now is the time for you to be patient. Hold on to that vision because things are happening below the surface that you might not be aware of. So let's get into some tarot and see exactly what is going on with you all. So what emotional baggage are you carrying with you right now, other than frustration that things are not moving at the speed and in the way that you want it to? We have the Queen of Wands in reverse, clarified by the Three of Swords in reverse. Oh, okay, Libra. So I feel like for a lot of you, this may have to do with your interaction with another person that has basically decimated your excitement for life. And it's kind of like, well, when am I going to get over this? Like, it's almost this feeling of I'm over it, but I'm kind of really not, because what I do and how I move through life shows that I'm not truly, truly over it. And so I feel like there's a lack of excitement that you have sort of adopted when it comes to other people in your life. So let's say that you were hurt by a friend or a romantic partner. It's like you could give two damns about where they are or what they're doing right now, but at the same time, you're not necessarily open to giving anybody else a chance. It's kind of like when you meet someone, it's like, oh, okay, nice to meet you. Enjoy the rest of your day. Take good care. Be blessed. Bye. It's you don't want to let anybody, sort of get too close. So there's this bit of push and pull that's happening with you all. Now, how this baggage is weighing you down, how it's showing up in your everyday life we have the moon in reverse. Like, Libras, you want to know what's going on at the time that it's going on, by whom it's going on from. It's almost like your eyes are so open that there's no mystery, there's no intrigue, there's no nothing. It almost feels as though you are on intellectual autopilot, where there's no room for there's not a whole lot of room for emotion, is what it feels like. And clarified with the King of Swords in reverse. Now, the interesting thing is, Libra, I don't think that you're particularly nasty about your position. It's almost like you can say go to hell with the sweetest smile on your face. And, there's an awareness that you're not going to be bothered, but nobody can really be mad at you for it, because you're not walking around chopping people in the throat. You're not walking around being nasty. But in general, people they know not to bother you. They know not to, don't get below surface level, because Libra's not having that. They're not interested. Now, why you began carrying this emotional baggage? King of Pentacles in reverse. You got let down. You got let down by someone at a certain point. It's almost like promises that were made were not kept. You were sold, a bag of goods that, you thought you were getting a bag of gold that turned out to be, a satchel full of tin. Like, there was no value in it. And the stability that you thought you were going to have, you did not get from this person. And it was like, oh, okay, I got you. Cool. The Devil, to clarify. Bad habits, addictions, codependence, things that sort of fly in the face of what it is that you want in life, who it is that you are. I literally just heard sold your soul to the devil. And so I feel like once upon a time, Libra, that you were kind of sold a bill of goods by someone who brought out the absolute worst in you. And you got past that situation, kind of, sort of, in that you have not allowed yourself to be put in that position again. But in doing so, you have cut other people's access off from you. Now, whether they're good, whether they're bad, you legitimately have no idea, because everybody gets the same treatment. If, Libra is 20 feet deep, guess what? You're going to see the first 6 inches. And that's it. Like, there's no openness to be had. And I think that that's a reflection of what your healing process has been so far. But I do think that there's a little more, because Libras, let me be honest with you. I think that deep down, for a lot of you, you want these healthy relationships. You want these healthy interactions. And you're not going to be able to have that if you're closed off to everybody. Now, how can you begin to let go of this baggage? We have the 5 of Pentacles, and we also have the 7 of Wands, to clarify. Now, with the 5 of Pentacles, it's this sort of sense of being on the outside looking in, right? It's, if you can see in this photo, there's this guy who's like, there's an eyeball in this doorway who's looking out, and they're kind of looking back at the eyeball like, can I come in? Is it safe? Like, am I welcome in there? And with the Pentacles, that represents stability and abundance and sort of those material goods and resources that we have in the world. In all of this darkness in the card, there's this warm glow that's coming out from the Pentacles. And so this person kind of sees the warmth, and he sees this eyeball, but he's like, I don't know, eyeball. I don't know if I trust you. Can I come in? Is it safe? Is it okay? And so I think that the first step for you all is, in terms of letting go of this baggage, is really relying on your intuition and understanding whether or not it's safe to go in. And that's going to depend on the person that you engage with. But trust your intuition, right? Let it lead you forward until it tells you to stop. And that way you won't get too deep in. If you trust yourself, if you trust your intuition, it's not going to steer you wrong. There's that feeling in the pit of your stomach for a reason. There are those butterflies in your stomach for a reason. And your intuition will let you know when something is no longer right for you. So trust it in you moving forward. And with the Seven of Wands, this is very much a card of defensiveness and self-protection. So I think that Libra, throughout the experiences that you've had, you have built up this ability for discernment. And you know now how to protect yourself against losing yourself or getting swept up in somebody else's bad habits and therefore creating them for yourself. So starting to trust you is going to be how you start letting go of this last little bit of baggage, because you have something that's not yet finished. And I think that has to do with your relationships with other people. Now, what you'll gain by letting go of this baggage, we have Strength in reverse. Look at you, Libra, embracing your vulnerability. You don't have to walk around super swole all the time. You don't have to be tough. You can allow people in. You can let them get to know you a little bit. I'm not saying give up everything. But with the Two of Cups in reverse, I feel like there's you letting your guard down and not sort of just tying yourself to one person or, tying yourself to this one partnership. I think, Libra, this is your time to get out and explore. So you're no longer thinking about this partnership, this relationship that you've experienced before and that's damaged you before. That there is really that letting go of this connection that you may have had with someone else. So, for those of you who are trying to sort of get to that last step where you fully release their energy, maybe try a black walnut bath, try hypnosis. There are ways to sort of sever those ties. And I think that you opening yourself up or being ready to open yourself up is going to get you closer to that point. So what you're learning from this experience overall, we're starting out with the Two of Swords. Now, the Two of Swords is being sort of blinded and having to make a decision. I do think that for a lot of Libras, that blinder is now off. And when it comes to how you engage or how you interact with other people, you have a lot more clarity, right? You're no longer sort of stuck at those crossroads. And with the Page of Swords, to clarify, this is typically my watcher card. The Page of Swords is someone who sort of stands off to the sidelines. They don't really move too much. There's not a lot of activity or action that's surrounding them. They collect data. They observe. They look to see what information they can take in so that then they can figure out their next best move. And I think now that you are moving forward in a way that's unblinded and a lot more knowledgeable, a lot more aware, and a lot more discerning. So you're no longer just sort of standing on the sidelines watching. I think that's the lesson. It's like you have to be an active participant in your own existence with this unfinished symphony. And I think the desire for partnership, for deeper relationships, it's going to be on you to move forward. And what we have for additional messages from Spirit, we have Say No, and we have Address Your Addictions. And so, Libras, I think that this really funnels into the lessons that you've learned and your discernment. So remember why you started carrying this baggage in the first place. We had the Devil, which is all about addictions, codependence, bad behavior. That could have been on the other person's part. That could have also been on your part. Perhaps you gave too much, too deeply, too soon to somebody that you didn't know. It's happened to the best of us. I am 100% not judging you for that. But start looking at why that is. Start looking at why you may have ignored red flags or ignored your intuition. And I think I think for a lot of Libras, this is not going to be an issue for you going forward, where you are now in a place where you have greater awareness of self, and you also have built up this level of discernment and trust that you will not steer yourself in the wrong direction. And even if you start to go off course a little bit, you can self-correct. So I feel like this is spirit reminding you that it's okay to say no. If something doesn't feel like it fits, if something does not sit right in your spirit, it's okay to say no to it. You don't have to fall back into this same trap of being generous or being forgiving or being altruistic or whatever the situation is. You don't have to do that. And again, I think you've done a good job of not being nasty about where you stand, and you can carry that going through. But I think that it's probably now time for you to sort of open up and start exploring, because deep down, this is what you want. So that's what I got from my Libras out there. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed, and I will see you on the next one.